Our focus to some more breaking updates coming in from Karnataka. A new controversy that's broken out. Savarkar showdown yet again in Karnataka after the portrait being unveiled in Suvarna Soudha. Savarkar portraits are also going to be in the schools. So we saw what happened in the assembly. The Congress party had opposed it, but the Savarkar portrait was unveiled in Suvarna Soudha and Belagavi. Now, the Education Minister is said to have given verbal instructions to schools in Karnataka to have portraits of all freedom fighters, including Savarkar. This has led to controversy, with the Congress party now saying this is a Hindutva push by the BJP. But the Education Minister saying that the school students should be aware of the contributions of Savarkar.
You're saying that photos of freedom fighters will be put up in educational institutions. Will this also include Savarkar? Because the BJP has always said that he has fought for the freedom of the...
Not BJP. History of the India has said that Savarkar fought against British. Okay. He was the man who has been sentenced by the British because of the freedom movement. Okay. I am not saying that. BJP is not saying that. Many freedom fighters who fought says that. Okay. In England, we were.
Schools, huh? Is there a plan to put photographs of these?
We have not sent any circular about that. Whenever I goes to the schools, I tell the teachers to teach something about the freedom movement. Okay. Particularly on the birthday of any freedom fighter, they should tell 2-3 minutes about the freedom fighter, and if they can put the poster or photo of that freedom fighter, so the next generation will know how we got the freedom. Okay. What is the tyaga done by our forefathers to get the freedom from the British.
Because up until now there are only some photographs of certain people who fought for the freedom of the country who's found a place in the classrooms. Is there a deliberate attempt to change that?
No, definitely there is no deliberate attempt to change any photos. What we say is that idealism has to be placed before the students to know the real things, real histories. So if a teacher feels that some photos has to be put in their school, definitely they have freedom to put only the photographs of the freedom fighters.
My colleague Deepak Bopanna, who had that conversation with the Education Minister, joining us on the broadcast. Deepak, the Education Minister BC Nagesh saying that there's no official circular that has been issued to the educational institutions, but verbal instructions have been given to the schools to unveil portraits of Savarkar in the schools.
Yes, he had recently, in fact, visited a school in Raibagh near Belagavi, and this was on the 19th of December, and we are putting up that picture on our screens where you can see there is already a Savarkar photo along with the other freedom fighters. So there is no official circular that has gone out from the Education Department. That's something that the Education Minister himself clarified. But he has said that, all freedom fighters, when he means all, he has also included Savarkar, that he says, especially on their birthdays, the students should be given a small brief about what their contribution to the Indian freedom struggle has been. He also says that their portraits could also be put up, and we are seeing one such example in a school in Raibagh where he had visited. You can see right behind him multiple photographs of Bhagat Singh, and then right next to it there's also an image of Savarkar that we're looking at. So it looks like this could become a norm where in the past as well we've had especially government schools which have had photos of freedom fighters. Now prominently in most of these government schools you could start seeing the pictures of Savarkar come up. While we of course spoke to the Congress, which right now has taken up quite a different stand over Savarkar. They are not really trying to attack the BJP ideologically over Savarkar. They're saying they have no objection. But today while we spoke especially to Mr. Priyank Kharge, he said the children should also be taught that it was Savarkar who wrote mercy petitions to the British, that he drew pensions from the British, and he says this is a part of the knowledge that should be imparted to them as well, taking an indirect jibe. We saw that happen even while the Savarkar portrait was installed in the well of the house, where they didn't directly attack the BJP but said that portraits of other social reformers and prominent people who fought for the freedom of the country, their portrait should also be put up. So it looks like a new strategy of sorts is being employed by the Congress party. An indirect jibe, an indirect attack is coming, but directly the Congress is not taking on the BJP over Savarkar and any controversy surrounding that.
Okay, Deepak, stay on with us. Let's play out that reaction of the Congress party. The Congress taking a dig at the BJP and of course on Savarkar. Remember, the Congress party also opposed the unveiling of Savarkar's portrait in the assembly. Now the Congress party is saying that if you are teaching school students about Savarkar, they should also learn about the mercy petitions that he wrote to the British.
Freedom fighters, the pictures of freedom fighters had always been put up in all government schools. It's nothing new. The only additional thing is now putting up Savarkar's photo. I urge the state government, we have no issues with Mr. Savarkar's photo being put up. But if you are putting it up, make a proper lesson out of him in the syllabus about Savarkar. Tell the facts. Why did he write a mercy petition? Why did he take pension from the British government? Why was he against Quit India movement? Why was he against Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose's Indian National Army? Let all these facts be put in a lesson and taught to people. We have nothing against that. But are they doing that? No. They are coming up with some fantasy paragraphs in his lesson saying that he rode a bulbul and came to see Bharat Mata. These kind of lessons, these kind of praises, unworthy praises, is not good, is not correct, is what. Let him put facts on Savarkar. We have no issues with that.
There's a little bit of a tense situation building up in Hubli over the demolition of a dargah. While the proposal for the infrastructure project was several structures, including the dargah, including some temples, will be demolished. But today they're only going for the dargah. Is the claim coming in from some of the groups, and there's a standoff happening?
No, see, I'm not sure about the entire procedural thing for what's happening in Hubli. But as far as I know, the law of the land states that irrespective of which religious settlement or institution it is, if it's a project of national importance or state importance, they have to demolish it. Whether it's a temple or whether it's a church or whether it's a mosque. That's what is my understanding. So I'm not sure in the context that you are talking about.
Thanks.
So, Deepak, that was the reaction from the Congress party. The Congress taking a dig at Savarkar. In fact, this is something that the Congress party brings up time and again, that Savarkar had written mercy petitions. So, the Congress party saying that the BJP is trying to change history and is trying to glorify him unnecessarily, saying fantasy lessons are being taught to the students.
Yes, he says that while the pictures of freedom fighters were already there in government schools, now the inclusion of Savarkar is something that the BJP is bringing in, and he says that if they want to really do it, let them go ahead with it, but they should impart the right kind of knowledge, because he believes that Savarkar, the history that should be taught to the students is that Savarkar wrote mercy petitions, he drew pensions from the British, and not any other cooked up story about Savarkar. This has of course been the charge of the Congress and also the claim of the Congress from day one. While we've seen, of course, the Savarkar controversy that has erupted in different parts of the country, not just in Karnataka. In Karnataka, of course, there have been various levels at which the Savarkar controversy has played out. Be it, the inclusion of Savarkar in the textbooks. Be it, at the Ganesha pandals where right-wing organizations backed by the BJP wanted to have posters of Savarkar put up at the Ganesha pandals very recently in the assembly. And now it looks like, indirectly it's also going to be a part of, the educational institutions in Karnataka as well. And we've seen one such poster already emerge here in near Belagavi, and we can see probably more such posters come up in different parts of the state as well.
Okay, all right. And clearly this is not the first time that a controversy has broken out over Savarkar. Previously as well, whether it is a note in the textbooks, in the assembly, or now in schools as well. Deepak, thank you for joining us with those details.